What is up, everybody?
What's going on?
Chilling like a villain. We're chilling. Congratulations to JT on winning the TBF National Championship. Pretty wild. We're gonna try to get a little bit of music going on here. I don't know what's happening. I don't even know why it's making us do this right now.
Oh, that's their terms of use, so they may have updated something.
Come on, baby. Just let us play some music. I don't understand what's happening right now. Welcome to Streamlad's music powered by... Yeah, great. How about you go away and let us play some music?
Stop angry clicking.
Well, it's making me angry.
Click get started again.
What's up, Steven? Thanks for joining, brother. Trying to,
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, this app sucks. All right, anyways.
Oh.
No music.
We're not playing any music. We're just gonna go right in.
We're just jumping right in
right
on
into
it.
things.
Come on. So, yeah. There's been a lot of big fish caught in the past week.
Oh my gosh. Like it's been
insane.
It's been crazy.
The bay is on fire.
So last weekend, there was a tournament on Saturday and a tournament on Sunday. 2 7.5s weighed in on Saturday, 2 over 7 weighed in on Sunday. Multiple 6-pounders weighed in.
What's up, Vic?
I can't. So the crazy part is, like, I can't tell you. I was weighing fish in the one tournament. I mean, I can't even tell you the number of 5-pounders that we didn't weigh for big fish because the 7.5 had already been weighed in.
That's crazy.
So, like, I mean, there were tons of 5-pounders that came in.
Yeah, before we get too deep into it, Tony is not here tonight. Tony is
in Bosnia,
probably on his way home from Bosnia. I think he'll be home tomorrow, so he's just a day short on making the podcast tonight. So we will see Tony next week, maybe midweek, if we decide to do a midweek podcast, which we normally don't. But you never know with us. We're spontaneous.
Sometimes.
But, yeah, so lots of 5s, lots of 6s.
Lots of 5s,
but these big 7s have been coming out of the bag.
Quite a few 6s. And to be fair, Nate Brown weighed in one that was just shy of 7. It was like 6.98 or something like that. So just a ton of big fish coming out of the bay right now. Joe dropped a giant muskie the other day. Made me sick. Oh, that sucks.
The fish of 1,000,000 casts.
10,000 casts.
Is it 10,000? I thought it was 1,000,000.
But yeah, lots of big fish coming out of the bay. Pretty cool. We talked about, I know over the winter we talked about how we thought the cold winter that we had was going to affect the springtime fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say it did pretty good. did a pretty good job because there are a lot of big fish being caught right now. Took 22 and change to win on Saturday, just over 20 on Sunday, which is understandable, considering, it's the bay and it never fishes as good on Sunday because it gets beat up on Saturday.
Right. Let's see here. Always doing stuff.
I was like, what are you doing?
Tagging our
wonderful sponsors.
You know what? I tagged Tactical Fishing Company, and I'm going to leave it up there.
Yeah.
Why not?
He's kind of like a sponsor.
He's a partner.
Yeah. I've been trying to work with him a lot more on testing some of his new baits, giving him some good feedback on what he might need to change. And he has got one bait that is like
On fire.
it is money, and I throw it a lot for something specific, but not exactly what it was designed for, but it does it does a really good job on that. So I'll leave that up for you guys to find out. Tactical Fishing, you can find them at tacticalfishing.com. Andrew makes some really, really nice soft plastics. Couple different, he's got a couple different designs out there. He's got the bomber bug, which is a really good bait, very durable, and the MRE, which is his kind of like his signature bait. That's their top seller, which is a chatterbait trailer. Pretty good, pretty unique chatterbait trailer.
I gotta say,
Very different than
his
anything else.
colors are fire.
Yeah, he's
I
got
really like some of his colors, like the color combos that he's done with the bomber bug. It's very sick. I really like them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good ones.
He takes all the confidence colors and like blends them into one.
Yeah,
That it makes me happy.
I think it's a dirt crawl or something like that.
He mixed June bug with something else that was like really good that I really liked, like June bug with like a green pumpkin. Yeah.
Yeah. He has. I think that's his. Like, what does he call that? Well, you know what? We have technology. We can pull up his site. I am not a very good partner apparently because I don't remember his colors.
Let's look it up.
But yeah, let's take a look at Andrew's baits real quick. And
That's not tactical.
oh, it's tacticalfishingco.com.
The hell.
Yeah, there you go. Tactical fishing. There it is. Nope. Get through all the ads. There you go.
Here
That's
we
it.
go. Check it out.
Tactical. Can you update the link in the?
Yes,
in the
I
comments?
will update the link in the comments. Scratch that first link.
They're watching you type now.
I was typing.
All right. Yeah, there it goes. That came up in the.
Follow the socials. There it is.
And Andrew's got some really funny videos too. Like that's what I love. I love his social media presence.
I really like his page.
Um,
The combat crawl, the tacty toad, but the bomber bug.
so the bomber bug is probably my favorite bait that he makes,
What is happening?
and a lot of cool colors. That's his June bug red. If you
I do not see where.
that's fine. Just hover over it. Hover over the.
What we doing
If you just hover over the thumbnail of the color.
with this?
Yeah. Why isn't it? Oh, never mind. Just go through.
Technology is not working today.
Yeah, just go through there. Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, the hazmat's a sick color.
Yeah, I like the hazmat.
What's up, Jason?
That's one of my favorite colors.
Oh, what's up, Sam? Good to see you, brother. Do me a favor, everybody. Hit that like and share button. Let's get some more people up in here.
So hazmat's a good color.
I like the name.
I've been using that a lot. Bama, I think is no, that's not the one. It's the orange one.
That's probably a decent spring color right now.
Yes, I would agree. We got watermelon red.
Mm-hmm.
We got our old classic June bug.
I like his June bug.
Always June bug's always a good color. It's very universal. Use it everywhere.
Pro pumpkin.
Yeah, I got that little purple sheen to it.
Uh-huh.
A little iridescence. Creole. That's the one. That's probably the
Yeah,
one.
that's the one I'm thinking of with the
June bug red.
and the GP in there.
June bug red and GP.
With some red flake.
Dirtbag's a good one.
Oh, that's a nice color. Like a
that.
little shad color mixed in with some GP.
Yeah, it's very very natural. Very good, good clear water color.
Could this go away?
Click that little triangle. Oh. There you go.
Hey, it went away.
Peanut butter jelly.
Oh, that's
I like his peanut butter jelly is pretty unique too. It's good because it's more of like a tan.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of them is just like that dark brown. So good, good solid color. Black and blue, tried and true.
Good spring color right
Use
there.
the thing so I can see the color name.
Red bug.
Red bug's always a good color.
That's a dope color.
Big fan of that. Green pumpkin black.
Pumpkin black.
That's just green pumpkin black fleck.
Yep.
I use that one quite a bit too. Actually, I'm out of those right now. Little green pumpkin purple.
He's got it all going on. I think that's all the colors right there.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's it for the bomber bug. Great bait. I will throw out a little juice on here. I have been using it as a jig trailer the entire year. I actually started using it as a jig trailer when I first tried it out. Was in November, and decided to throw it on, trim a little bit off, throw it on a jig. It's banging.
He's got
He's
the
got a lot of
ballistic
cool stuff.
shad out, the
That's
missile minnow.
So that's the MRE. That's his best seller. That is designed to be like a chatterbait trailer.
Yep.
It's got a very unique action.
Do you have all the same colors in the MRE?
No, he's got different colors.
Ooh.
So you have like a blueback herring. Great color. You got your gobies.
Ooh, that goby color is really nice.
Yeah, it's a nice
I like
color.
that goby color.
Pro blue.
That's a sick color.
Just your
Cannot go
typical
wrong
pro
with
blue.
some pro blue.
Got your dark gill. Nice color there. Little sight flash.
That's a good color too.
Little meringue.
They're all phenomenal colors.
Bleeding shad's pretty cool. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
The baby bass is a good one. I got me some of those. Got me some of those shad colored ones too. You got your old black and blue. You got your ghost violet, which is another phenomenal color.
Well, it's like a pearl almost with the. Yeah,
It's got like a little. It's like a chartreuse pearl.
Ooh, brewski.
With like a purplish type.
Brewski.
Yeah, got your brewski. Got your regular old green pumpkin.
Black flake.
And then you got your morning dawn for them.
That is a dope color right there. The
For
morning
those.
dawn. Do not sleep on it. What's up, Martin? What's up, Zach?
Got you that morning dawn for that for those morning dawn jackhammers like Lee Livesey was
It is
throwing.
literally the perfect match of a color too.
Mhm.
It's like perfect on that freaking bait.
Yeah, very good color. And then he's got a stickworm too. That's pretty good. Or hopefully should be pretty good.
We're gonna go back
We're
to
gonna
that.
we're gonna find out.
The swagger stick.
So he just redid the formula on these. They should be pretty good.
Oh look, they're sold out. That's how good they are.
He's also designed these so that you can right behind the center of it. So right there, you can pinch it off and use it as a Ned rig.
Oh, that's kind
So
of
you can
cool.
use the back end for as a Ned rig.
That's pretty sick. I like that.
There's if you see on the top one right there, right there, see that cross that's in there? That's where your hook point should come out with I believe a 4-aught hook, 3-aught or a 4-aught hook.
Okay.
So it's designed to.
You know you're rigged right.
Yep, know you're rigged right to get the best action out of it. You got the area to put your band on to wacky rig it. So.
Ooh, that's a great color once again.
So we're gonna be. He's sold out right now. Like I said, he just redid the formula on these. So I got a few. I got a couple packs to test out.
Don't sleep on pink. Never sleep on pink.
He has a tickler. Actually, he literally has a bait called the tickler.
What's up, buddy?
Go to.
What's up, Lou?
Go to his worms. Oh, he doesn't have it on here.
It is off the site
gone
right
anymore.
now.
Go back up to the top.
Out of stock?
Yeah, go back up to the top. Damn it. I guess he doesn't have. I guess he's designing a new worm, so he may have taken the tickler down, but that was named by a good buddy of ours, or two good buddies of ours, Mr. Tom Over and Mr. Nick Rogers.
The Tickler?
Called it the Tickler.
Interesting.
But yeah, so Andrew makes great baits. Any of the listeners, check him out. They're really good baits. They're well made. Veteran owned.
Mm-hmm. Local USA baits.
Handmade in his garage.
Yep. Customer service is phenomenal. The guy literally is going to give you his personal phone number to get in contact with him. He's, good ass dude.
Super good guy. Love Andrew to death.
Great content. Great content. If you don't follow Tactical Fishing on Facebook, you have to. He makes some really good, funny content we like to watch.
Yeah. He does have some. He's got some really good ones. So anyway, the tickle stick. But
so the bay's on fire right now. If you haven't gone out and got fishing, now's the time to go out and go fishing.
Yeah, get out there. It's a great time to catch a big one. So if you're looking for that PB and you fish the upper bay a lot, now's the time to be out there to get that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a really good chance at catching one over 6.
And that leads me to what we were talking about a little bit ago on the confidence colors right now.
Okay.
And I want to know in the comments how many of you guys have confidence in throwing the red colored baits in the spring. How many of you guys like doing that? How many of you guys have confidence in it? How many of you guys think that is really just a springtime thing, or is it just because we have confidence in it this time of the year? And obviously there's many other things that come into play when you're talking about just the color, because there's a cadence and all of that other stuff. But how many of you guys think that color is king right now in the springtime, that red color?
Well, we know Jason doesn't throw red.
We know Jason doesn't throw red.
I throw red. I throw red religiously in the spring in hard baits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't throw a lot of
What's
red.
up, Jim?
Like we were talking before we went on, before we went live. I don't own a red spinner bait. Like I've never thrown a red spinner bait. I own a metric ton of red crankbaits. I have an entire box that stays in my boat. That's red crankbaits.
Mm-hmm.
Traps. I love me a red trap.
That's a killer bait this time of the year. Trap. You want to know what bait I don't even own?
A rattle trap.
A rattle trap.
Of any kind of lipless.
Not really. I don't own any of them. I just have bad experiences with them. I feel like, I know what you're thinking. It's just like every time I feel like I throw one out there, I just come back with a bunch of shit stuck on the hooks, and I get tired of it.
You're fishing it too slow.
Yes.
And that's a good point. This water's still cold.
Scott says, "Crash, what's up?"
Hey, just missing my boat. That's all. I'll be up tomorrow morning to get it. You would think like, okay, I need to worm. I need to really like worm my crankbaits, or fish my lipless like really slow on the bottom. Like this is a really good time of year to burn, like just burn a crankbait.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the water in the low 50s, you think like, okay, I gotta slow down. I gotta fish slow. Like, nah, just speed it up. Probably the problem that you're having with lipless because either
It's my own fault.
fish it a little faster. Don't let it get down on the bottom. You're always going to pull up crap. It's just like fishing a crankbait, right? You're always going to get, if you got a little bit of that snot on the bottom, like you're always going to be cleaning your hooks off, cleaning the bill off, whatever you do.
Oh, we saw that, Jim. That wasn't even on Headwaters.
Nice.
Paul showed me the picture, and I was like, dang. I was like, he is a straight up hammer on Headwaters. But no, that's on a different lake. There you go.
But yeah, so back to red, or back to lipless. A lipless is a really, that's a really key bait in the springtime, and has been for years and years, decades.
What about a lipless is so good in the springtime?
Do
you think the loudness of the rattles has anything to do with it?
It's the vibration. So anything that has, there are certain, you'll notice that there are certain baits. This is actually a good topic because there are certain baits that always do well in the spring. Year after year, are always going to do well. And they all have something in common.
Vibration.
And it's all vibration. So let's think about the baits that are traditionally good in the spring.
Spinner baits.
Specifically Colorado blade spinner baits.
Yes.
Lots of vibration, right? Lipless, lots of vibration. Chatterbaits.
Chatterbaits.
Lots of vibration. Wide wobbling crankbaits.
Yeah.
A wide wobbling crankbait, like a Strike King Series 4 is one that I throw a lot in the springtime. It's a very wide wobbling crankbait with a lot of vibration.
Action.
Square bills, a lot of vibration, right? So you have all these baits. They all have that in common. They all give off a lot of vibration.
Now you can have vibration, but vibration doesn't necessarily correlate to sound. A lot of your lipless cranks have rattles in them.
Yes.
Do you think that has anything to do with it as well? It adds that different tone.
That's messed up. Scott, you're a jerk. Thank you.
It says traps around barges make tons of noise, like trolling motors crashing into them.
I'm sure he's making fun of me because he had to lift that heavy ass trolling motor a couple of times.
Yeah, that is
got his workout in this week. So, but you'll notice that sound is not always the biggest thing with a lipless. That's why, like, you have your regular lipless with your rattles in it, right? You also have one knockers, which are just have that one knock sound, and you also have silent lipless crankbaits, and they each have their place. And generally, I would say, it's just a general rule of thumb. Earlier in the year, your rattling ones tend to be better, and later in the year, your silent ones tend to be better. And here is my reasoning behind that. Because everybody's throwing a damn trap.
Mm-hmm.
So as you get through the season, those fish get pressured more and more and more. So the more that they get pressured, the more subtle you have to get. But you're still giving away that vibration. Yeah, I hate that stealth blade so much.
I feel like the stealth blade has more of
and
a
I've caught
purpose.
Fish on it.
I feel like the stealth blade has more of a purpose in clear water than
we were catching them in
anything
Texas.
else.
We were catching them in Texas on a 1 year.
On the stealth blade.
I just don't like it. I hate the way it feels. Like it just does not feel like a good.
I'm personally not a fan of it either. I just think that it's a time and place bait. I think it's a good clear water bait.
I don't know. I don't throw it because I've never.
See,
I've
Jason
never,
says he knows.
I've never ran into a situation where I couldn't catch them on a regular chatterbait.
Turtleback Colorado blades.
Yes.
What is the turtleback part of the Colorado blade? Just like a hammered blade?
So it'll look like it has a ridge through it. It's teardrop shaped. It's not like it looks like the love child of a Colorado and a willow blade. So it comes down to it's really wide, but comes down to a point like a willow blade. And
What's up, Andrew?
You'll see it has a ridge down the back of it like a turtle shell. So it looks like a snapping turtle shell.
Okay.
They give off a lot of vibration. Yeah, that don't. Jason, you can keep that stealth blade. Screw that thing. I don't even own one anymore. Like I said, I've never ran into a situation where
I think I own one.
They work any better than a regular chatterbait.
Yeah, that is very true, Jim.
Yeah,
there's a lot of times that fish want the vibration, but they don't want the noise, and vice versa.
I feel like
that's
comes
part
into
of figuring
play.
out that pattern.
That's going to come into play a lot when you're higher pressure water systems like Jim Fish's headwaters, super high amounts of pressure, and it comes less into play in river systems. I feel like the more current that you have, the less that really makes a difference with it being silent or not. So I feel like if you're in a lake, whether you're silent and rattling baits make more of a difference than a river system.
Why would something loud like that make a difference to begin with? There's no natural bait fish that are swimming around making really loud clacking noises.
No, but crayfish do.
It's not the same type of noise, though. It's not. You know what I mean? The crayfish just kind of.
You ever hear
They
things
scoot
like
their tail.
yeah, claws clapping together? So, like if you ever listen to a crayfish underwater, they make a ton of sound.
Really?
Yeah.
I have never listened to a crayfish underwater.
Oh, Jim.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Jim's the man.
my man.
I keep on saying Jim's the man. He really is the man.
Shoot me a message this weekend. We will figure out what we need there, because that is one.
He
one
said,
glide bait I will.
oh, Paul.
I was more like, so we'll definitely get that figured out.
That's dope. Hell
But-
yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim is always coming through for us.
And I think the sound, sound waves are vibration also, right? So, I think sometimes sound, it's not just sound, right? It's vibration. Again, it's just added vibration. So it's not necessarily the sound because let's be honest, let's think about it. Bass don't have ears. They're feeling vibration.
Do they not have ears?
You ever seen an ear on a bass?
I don't know. I guess I don't really ever pay attention because I'm excited when I catch one. I'm like, ooh.
Right. So they're feeling sound.
I thought they did have holes in their head.
Right, but they don't. It's not going to be, hey, fishing for dollars. Thanks
Fishing
for
for
joining in.
dollars. What's up, man? Good to see you back.
It's not going to be like sound like we think of it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Just like their colors are not the. I don't think the bass, they don't see colors the way that we see color
definitely not.
either.
Well, and we know they don't because we've dissected their eyeballs and we've seen the rods and cones that they have. So I feel like the sound's more, they're feeling that vibration of that sound. So
Lateral line.
yes. Let's ask Google. If I can type here. Do bass have ears? No, they do not have external ears.
So they're just deaf. They're
They
just
have-
deaf fish.
They have internal ears that allow them to detect and interpret sounds in the water.
What's
So
up,
they're-
John?
So again, they're feeling the vibration. Lower unit on the Milliken
Oh,
Camus
no.
went out on me the last day on way in. Oh, that
The last day
sucks.
on the way to. Wait, what?
On the way to weigh in.
Yeah. All right. That'll happen.
Yeah, it happens.
Hit up John. He's probably got a lower unit for you.
What if he's got a lower unit for me?
What happened to yours?
I don't know, I'm just tired of not having a skeg.
Oh yeah. He does like those shows.
Yeah, I saw that they canceled the first day. Those storms were gnarly out there. Actually, that Andrew was dealing with those storms too. They weighed in early the first day and today. Instead of weighing in at 3 o'clock today, they weighed in at 1.
Where's Table Rock?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Wow. Had one.
Had 1. Yeah, our was it a big one?
Was it the one that counts?
Had 1 Boatworks
Boat
auction.
Works auctions.
Not quite sure what you're talking about, but yeah, a friend of ours was fishing the TBF National Championship on Dardanelle, and that weather was nuts. I think Dardanelle's in Arkansas. Can't remember. Oklahoma, Arkansas, somewhere out there in the middle.
I was going to say, was he doing a lot of traveling to do the TBF Nationals?
Yes, I think everybody saw that, Jim.
Yeah, that is definitely going very, very viral right now. Obviously that guy, since we're going to talk about this for a minute, obviously that guy was completely in the wrong, but I'm going to do a call out right now on the kid. That kid was a vagina. Why were you apologizing and saying thank you for your service and all that crap when the guy was just being a total douche? And then you hid in the corner of your boat.
Not everybody's going to react the same to that situation. When you got a crazy dude on your boat where, like, to point where like he may have been fearing for his life. People are going to react differently.
I guess everybody is different. I know what would have happened if that was my boat. And that dude probably would have taken a couple rounds to the chest, especially in Florida.
He would have never been on my boat.
Right. Well, it's because like the other part of this too is like, why didn't you just leave the situation?
Well, he tried. If you noted, like his motor's in gear. Like his boat is driving.
I guess
off,
the anchor, he had anchor down and it was a dragon, or I don't know.
But it's. I was talking to a buddy of mine about that when I was. Yeah, do not do that to Jason.
Jason, never do that to me. That's what I was thinking, Jason. I was like, dude, that guy would have either taken treble hooks to the face, or we would have squared up, or he would have just taken a bullet and fed the fish.
I feel like that happens to Jason. That center console becomes a center console octagon, and that dude is gonna suck. So yeah, I was talking to, and it's kind of a good thing to bring up. Like, we all see, we've all ran into assholes on the water.
Yeah,
and
things can get heated sometimes. On the water, like
that's why like I've calmed down a lot in my old age, and like if somebody does something stupid to me, and like I may say something like, hey man, you think what do you like, hey man, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Or do you think it's cool what you're doing?
And
or,
just
anything.
Like I'm gonna let them know that I think it's wrong that they came in there, but like then I'm just gonna leave because you don't know how people are gonna react. And honestly, like a fishing spot is not worth somebody losing their life. Either way, right? Like it's not worth losing your own life or taking somebody's life over. When the whole situation could be avoided.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. That's why I brought up the point of like, why not attempt to leave the situation? But when that kid attempted to leave the situation and the guy still continued
to escalate,
and it still continued to escalate, it's like then you have to do what you need to do to defend yourself at that point.
But that de-escalation could have happened the incident prior to that as well.
What was the incident prior to to him getting on the boat?
No, prior to the prior day. Like it was days before. The reason that guy came up to him on the boat is because that kid and his buddy were out, according to what I saw in the video and the exchange. Like that kid and his buddy were out and something happened between them like days before. And I don't know exactly what it was, but apparently like that's what the stupid guy was saying. And say, that's funny. The guy was saying, why, like your buddy, why were you cussing me out? Why were you cussing me out? Like,
I hear you, John.
And I'm not blaming the kids. I'm not placing any blame on the kids. I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, I would have handled the situation differently because I don't want to get involved in any confrontation on the water. Like I said, it's just not worth it. One, it ruins my day.
Yeah.
My day's ruined. So I'm not having fun out there anymore. And two, you don't know how people are going to react like that.
From what the kid said, it wasn't even him. It was the other guy that did it. And that he was still being verbally and almost physically attacked.
When he said it was his buddy that did it.
Yeah.
And it was a separate occurrence.
So why are you being attacked by somebody when the whole situation was really, really screwed up, and I don't know, man.
Well, the guy just got pissed off at the boat. Like we don't like you think about.
Dude, that guy wasn't just pissed off. He was deranged. That guy was off the freaking hook. He was going crazy.
He did shut his Google page down. I don't know if he shut his business down or he just shut his Google page down because he was getting doxxed like crazy. There was a ton of people leaving like 1-star reviews.
Yeah, I mean that guy's entire business. I mean he'll never have customers ever again after that.
When I saw that like the local water agency in that area is investigating it too.
I gotta say though, I think every single one of us wanted to see that guy get knocked out though. We all wanted to see it. Just admit it. We wanted the kid to square up with him and punch him in his face and watch him fall off the boat. That's what everybody wanted to see, and it just didn't happen. It was sad.
I don't want to see, honestly, I want to see situations like that not happen because there's no reason for them to happen.
No.
Like we're all, I don't care if you're a guide, you're a tournament angler, or you're just out there for fun.
But we want to see douchebags get what they deserve.
We're all out there for the same reason. So I don't want situations like that to happen for anyone. Like that just shouldn't happen. We're all out there. We're all having fun. It doesn't matter if you're on the water for 300 days a year. I saw it. That was hilarious. I saw. I think it might have been Jim that posted it, and somebody made a comment because he was like, "I'm on the water 300 days a year," and somebody posted that his business was shut down, and like one of the comments was 300 days a year and not one single more.
Mark safe from the best charter boat fisherman in all of the world. Whatever his freaking guy said in the video.
Claiming he's full disability. Well, if he's full disability, how does he have a captain's license?
Yeah, you're right. He is definitely full-blown retard. There is no doubt about it.
Full mental disability.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. If he got hit, others might not try that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's possible. Florida company sent. Yes, I saw that. Somebody sent a letter to the president.
To Donald Trump?
Yeah.
You know what? It would not surprise me whatsoever if Trump actually said something about it.
And I've gotten pissed off at people on the water. I almost ran somebody into rocks one day in the Northeast because they weren't paying attention and they were trying to cut me off. So I just kept trolling motoring over, and they kept trying to go around, continue to go around me, and they almost ran into a rock jetty. But that's like...
You know what? The guy claimed to be like a Green Beret or some crap like that. He was like some natural... He was like... What was he? He was a freaking...
He's the best charter captain you'll ever see.
He was the best charter captain, but he said he was a veteran. But he ended up just being like a human resources officer or something like that.
Know.
It was just... Nothing that he said was even true.
He's got
a rap sheet a mile long.
It's not a mile long, but he's got some stupid, idiotic things on there. Like the stuff that's on his record does not surprise me after seeing that situation.
Right.
Like he got busted. Like he got a charge for carrying a gun on elementary school property.
What's up, Dustin?
Shit like that.
Do me a favor, everybody. If you guys are watching the podcast right now, hit that like button for us. Hit the share button if you feel up to it.
Oh, I guess Dustin said...
Helps bring some more people up in here.
Dustin saying he said he was a ranger.
From what I heard, the dude was like a natural resource police officer. He wasn't even a ranger. Like what he said on the video.
Human resources.
Yeah, human resources. Like for the military or something. Like he wasn't a ranger. He said he was a ranger, but he wasn't.
He was human resources E3.
Okay, yeah. So
Jim has all the dirt on this. Jim's been like digging. He's been like digging it up.
He's down there in Florida, so
How far away is that from you, Jim?
Yeah, how far away is that?
Like I don't really know what the area is. But yeah, that guy was, whew.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. And again, that's why I don't do shit like that. Like I said, I almost ran a guy into the rock. Like I was on my trolling motor, right? And I was fishing a dock here, and there's rocks over here. Hours. And I was catching my fish that day off that rock where that bank where the rock is. So I see somebody come in and set down. There's a 6 mile an hour zone coming in. They come in, they set down. So I immediately turn off the dock, and I'm trolling over to the rocks. And so this guy comes in, and I'm going this way, and he's trying to cut around me to get back. So I just keep trolling motor over to the rocks. I'm fishing, right? I'm casting out in front of me, and I keep trolling motor over there, and he's just looking, trying to get around me. He almost ran his boat on top of this freaking rock jetty. It was hilarious. And then he stops and he starts screaming at me, calling me an asshole, telling me that thing. You think you own the water? I was like, I was just going over here to fish. And he's like, oh, well, you think you're the only one that can fish back here? I was like, dude, all you had to do was ask. Hey, you mind if I go around you? Would have been cool. I didn't give a shit. But because he ignored me and was trying to just trying to look, I was like, well, fuck it. If he's gonna be an asshole, I'm gonna be an asshole back.
Yep.
And He almost ran his boat into the rocks, and he turned around and left. He got all pissed off and turned around and left.
I can't imagine having a freaking PTSD trip off because some kid was fishing where you wanted to fish, or their lights weren't on the freaking night before, or something stupid like that. By the way, I don't know what the laws are down in Florida, but blowing through the bridge at Mach freaking 50 miles an hour is probably not a great idea.
Scott, I hope he loses his disability payments.
I think a lot worse is going to happen. This guy's not going to be able to show his face at a boat ramp for a very long time.
I have a feeling that he's going to end up getting some sort of felony charge for this.
Yeah.
Technically, boarding another person's vessel without permission is under maritime law is piracy.
What?
Boarding someone's
piracy.
Vessel, boarding someone's vessel. Arr. Boarding someone's vessel under maritime law. Boarding someone's vessel without permission is piracy. So, charge him with piracy. I would do if that's a headline tomorrow. I would laugh my ass off. Florida man charged with piracy. Arr. Last I saw, he was getting. I saw that
You should get arrested.
I saw that the one. The local water authority down there, I can't remember exactly who it was, but they said they were investigating. They had gotten multiple reports and seen the video and were he was under investigation. So hopefully it comes out. Let's all be I don't know what started it, but all of this stuff can be avoided by just not being a piece of shit.
I mean, it sounds to me like the kid really did nothing, and the guy started shit with him. And
well, I don't know what they did.
Like
I said, I don't know what happened a couple days before.
Even if it was a couple days before, get the fuck over
No, I'm just saying, but don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, the guy was being a piece of shit. I didn't see the 22-year-old guy doing anything wrong. He was just minding his own damn business.
Well, I said, I don't know.
In the video.
I don't know, in that video, I don't know what happened before, Just don't.
I don't care what happened before. What happened before was freaking done and over with and done.
Well, right.
Climb on somebody's. Exactly. You don't climb on somebody's boat for something that happened 3 days before. Or a week before.
I completely agree. Yeah. It's what's done is done. Just go about your way. Yeah, but that brings me into something that I want to talk about, and it's something that I'm tournament director for Maryland TBF, so our first tournament this year. Seth Fighter said something on a podcast a couple weeks ago with Dave Mercer, and it kind of really hit home for tournament fishing, right? And he said you only need 3 rules in a bass tournament.
I agree, Dustin. That was I don't necessarily know if they need to be penalized, but
they don't need to be penalized, but
they definitely didn't check their boy. They definitely didn't try to grab him and be like, "Dude, what is wrong with you?"
I saw the one guy that was in the video. He was a photographer, and he's like, I honestly I had not met those guys before that day, so I can understand if you're in a situation like that, you're like, what the fuck,
yeah.
So but yeah, some of the other guys they just kind of sat there and just let it happen, and I don't really agree with that, but. So anyway, to my Seth Fighter's 3 rules of tournament fishing. These are the only 3 rules you need, and these are the 3 rules that I gave my guys a couple weekends ago when we were down on the Potomac. Seth Fighter's 3 rules of tournament fishing. You only need 3. 1, what time do I weigh in? 2, how big do the fish have to be? And 3, don't be a piece of shit.
I like those rules. We should put that on the back of a T-shirt.
Right? He should put that on the back of a T-shirt. That's his saying. I got to give him full credit for that. But those are really the only 3 rules that you need, right? Don't be a piece of shit. Let's be honest. Everybody knows what's right and wrong when it comes to fishing. If you cut that guy off, that's being a piece of shit. If you're fishing in an area that you're not supposed to be fishing in, you're a piece of shit. And if you're trying to give yourself a competitive advantage in a shady way, you're a piece of shit. So you only need those 3 rules, right?
And is that the law in every state? No running on plane under a bridge?
It's not the law in every state,
No.
A lot of states. Alabama, I think Texas for sure. I've never fished in Florida, so I don't know. But it's not.
Like you're not supposed to run one plane underneath the train bridge here in Mariner.
No, but it's posted.
Right.
But in the bush you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no 6 mile an hour. No 6 mile an hour for the bush for the train bridge.
I guess it also depends on like where you're at too. Like on the Susquehanna, like those bridges you don't have to go 6 through those bridges.
And what's up with Scott Martin having to take a polygraph now?
That's what I wanted to talk about next. I wanted to talk about what was going on with Riggin. Here we go. Come on, Jim. Give us the information because we know you have it.
How about for all the Scott Martin fanboys out there? And again,
gay.
I don't have a problem with Scott. I think the Scott Martin challenge show. Pretty cool. Like I enjoy watching that. However, when you have 3 veteran tournament anglers come on a podcast and say, "Man, I mean that dude's been doing it for 20 years. He just finally got caught."
Yeah, straight up.
You know, that
was Seth and
Seth Hackney
yeah.
and Swindle.
Been called out by like multiple people that he does this freaking crap. He's definitely a shady individual.
Gussie called him out too, and Gussie's been fishing against him for a long time at FLW.
But
other people have said the same thing.
I read on one of the YouTube videos that Scott Martin commented on. He said that whatever's being talked about right now happened 6, 7, 8 months ago or something like that, and it was well before whatever this tournament even is. But that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why would you even be seeking information about a tournament 8 months or whatever in advance? Like, nothing is going to be the same.
Well, if you've never been there and it's a big body of water, you know so it's made up of like 8 different rivers, right? So even 8 months in advance, you know, if you're talking to a buddy, hey, you know, like we're fishing this area, you know, what of these areas do I need to focus on? Mm-hmm. You know, which river's the best? Where are the biggest fish at?
Right.
You know, that kind of information is universal. It doesn't matter how long.
Does it make it legal when it's 8 months ahead of time?
It depends. So if the schedule was announced, no, because as soon as the schedule is announced, you can't get information. Right. However, there was a 3-day period last year where they rescinded the no information rule.
I remember.
So if it was during that period, then it doesn't really matter. Like that, he wasn't breaking the rules because it wasn't against the rules at that time.
That's so lame.
But look, there's guys out there who do it the right way, right? And then there's guys out there that do everything they can to bend the rules. I saw Slick Johnson, which, you know, he take it for what it is. You know, he's got a big mouth, right?
It is slick.
It's slick, but he made a good point. You know, there are anglers, you know, on river systems like for example, Wheeler and Pickwick, and you know he knows that people will, you know, ask their buddy, they knowing that they can't get information on Pickwick, like, hey, what's going on at Wheeler? Because Wheeler and Pickwick fish very much the same. So he's not soliciting information for Pickwick. He's getting information for Wheeler. Mm-hmm. But because the two they're on the same river system, one's above the other, they fish very similarly. So what's going on at Wheeler is also going on at Pickwick. So there's guys that are going to bend the rules like that. And then there's guys that do it right. There's a lot of guys that do it right. And
I think most of them.
I would say so. You know, 80 to 90% of them of the field, you know, does it right.
It is not a good look.
I agree.
Yeah, Scott. He's definitely.
But it was just a good point that he made. You know, that, you know, you can get information. Like I could get information on Wheeler that totally applies to Pickwick. You know, so it was just a good point that he made. I do agree with it, that he is kind of an asshole.
No matter what, it's not a good look that Scott Martin just had the DQ a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever it was, and now he's getting hit for the same exact shit again. It's not a good look.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to read the comment out loud.
So
So,
Jim's basically. I'm gonna paraphrase it because that's pretty long. So Jim is saying he basically asked if someone had a card of waypoints that he lent to him before, and he wanted to get it back. That is pretty shady.
you have a card with slots remarked from someone else who went out there for you, and you just ask if he still has that card he loaned you. What does that mean?
What I just said, Matt, like a memory card.
Okay.
Marking
okay,
waypoints.
Okay, all right, I got you.
You lent it to him.
That went
and
like
now
over the head there.
And now
like,
you want to get it back.
Yeah, I got you.
With all the waypoints that he put on it.
That is some shit right there. If that's true.
You know, a lot of people have, you know,
You know what? But if you're taking that much time to figure out how you can bend the rules to keep it legal,
Here's another thing Seth Fighter said that I thought was good. If you read the rule book more than once, you're a cheater. Because if you read that rule book more than once, you are looking for ways to get around rules that are in there.
yeah, I could agree with that.
You know, because most of the rules are common sense rules, right?
Right.
You know, it's don't.
So why are you looking for loopholes?
Right. Exactly. So
I
like
mean,
Seth Fighter.
yeah.
We need to get him on the show because.
So if
if
anybody
a lot of stuff
knows
that he
the
says.
best way to get in contact with Seth or
Yeah,
Matt
anybody
Robertson, please
anybody
let
has
me
any
know.
Anybody has any Seth Fighter connections? Hook us up.
I've
we'd love to talk
messaged
to him.
Seth and I messaged Matt Robertson on Instagram, and they still haven't opened up my messages. That was probably 3 weeks ago. So it's probably just
Probably
not
also
the best.
get 1,000 messages. A day,
Exactly. So there's got to be a better platform because honestly, like the Matt Robertson and Seth are pretty like outgoing individuals in the fishing community, and I do feel like they do interact with the community pretty well compared to some other people.
I'm gonna hit Jesse Wiggins up on TikTok again.
Same thing with Adrian Aveen. I hit up Adrian, who, by the way, is decent friends with John Hansen.
Yeah,
And John,
I have some mutual friends with Adrian.
Yeah. So,
Actually,
but Adrian hasn't opened up the thing on Instagram yet. So
We should
there's
talk-
got to be a different platform.
We should talk. We should
To
talk
reach out to these guys.
We should talk to Mike Powers. When they were doing the Ike Foundation tournament on the Delaware River, Mike and Mac fished were fishing the Ike tournament, and they were they got sloshed with Adrian.
Nice. But yeah, I would.
There's some good stories there, but
I definitely think that there is definitely a possibility, if being able to connect with these guys, that they would definitely come and talk to us. I just don't know what platform is best to reach out to them.
Yeah.
It's like I like Matt Herron has obviously come on our show multiple times and talked to us, but I reached out to Matt a couple weeks ago to talk to him, and I hit him up on the wrong freaking platform, and I never heard back from him. I hit him up on Facebook, and like right away, he answered me on Facebook.
yep.
So
Yeah, so you gotta know, like, how to get a hold of them.
Exactly. And apparently Instagram is not it.
Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, it all depends on the person. I need to talk to Greg too. I'd like to get Greg to come on.
GDP. Yeah, I would like to see. Greg DePalma would be great to speak to.
That dude. He's such a good fisherman. Like, and he's got so much on. The thing, Greg gives great seminars. His seminars are ridiculous.
He gave me a good mini seminar on drop shot.
Oh, well,
You should have seen his face when I was up at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle, and I was like, "Yeah, I need to get some stuff together for drop shot." And he gave me recommendations, and I was like, "I've never thrown a drop shot." His face just kind of went blank. He just stared at me for a second. He's like, "Really?" He's like, "You fish the bay? You've never thrown?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, Jim. There has been some. Oh, we have no problem getting a hold of Matt.
Oh yeah, we have no problem
Yeah.
getting hold of Matt.
Yeah, Matt's a friend of the show, I would say.
Yeah, so I would I'm gonna wait, and I talked to Matt a little bit. I'm gonna try to get back in touch with him after he fishes a couple more of the MPFLs.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he feels about the MPFL. And
I
how
wanna
how he's
compare the
doing over
differences,
there.
but he's only fished one MPFL so far. So I would like to see him, maybe go through the series first for 1 year,
Or at least get through a couple tournaments.
Yeah, and then have him come on the show, possibly if he would be willing to come back on again. Which I
Because
don't know why he wouldn't, but
I'm just curious to see like how he's doing over there, how he feels about it, how he feels about his situation, being there, and
what's up, Jeff? Jeff's a crazy mofo. That guy's wild.
Jeff is crazy.
That guy's posts make me.
Hey,
geek,
Jeff,
dude.
Jeff JT just won a brand new Ranger. If you're looking for one. Like brand spanking new 2025.
Could be for sale. You even commented on his thing earlier. He's like, "You're such a fanboy."
He loves his Rangers, man.
Jeff is like Tony until he got to that bullet life.
Jeff is diehard. Jeff is with Rangers like Tony is with gamblers.
Yeah,
like just obsessed with them.
Except Tony has a bullet now,
but is still obsessed with gamblers.
Yeah,
right.
I think that would be if I could go back and.
Like I feel like
if
pick
out a boat from back in time and get it restored at JCS Marine, it would be a gambler.
So Jeff told me the other day, like now he's like I want a Ranger or a Phoenix. That's the two best riding boats that I've been in, and I have a feeling if he got a Phoenix, he would still just want a Ranger. Kind of like Tony's like, yeah, I got a bullet, but man, I'd kill to have a gambler.
There's been people who've had their dad fine fish in a little John boat, hold the spot until they get there, and just drift out so son could get on. You know what? That's
telling you, Jeff,
I totally believe it.
My buddy JT just won. He today, tournament ended today. Won a 2025 520.
Look, I'm glad somebody is with me. Ken's with me. He's never thrown a drop shot. Which, by the way, I can say that I have thrown a drop shot now. It was for about 7 casts, and then I cut it off, but I did throw it. Dude. I catch shit in so many other ways. The drop shot I don't know.
You can always catch them better, though.
Yeah. I'm not against doing it again. I don't know.
I've caught so many big fish on drop shot. So many big fish. And
he says they are slow, but I love them. They're a good ride.
Jim says drop shots are gay.
Wait a second. You've never done a Ned, Ken? Okay. What? That's even hard for me.
I haven't thrown a Ned rig in 2 years.
Really? God, I like throwing Ned rigs.
How do you like throwing a Ned rig?
It's the same thing as throwing a shaky or something to me.
Dustin, I remember the tournament that the drop shot became a big thing for you. Because I was also on the same body of water that day.
Yeah. Okay, all right, fine. I'll put a drop shot back on. You know what? Actually, screw this. I'm going to go out and buy another spinning combo because I'm tired of going from shaky head to drop shot on one rod. I just need a drop shot rod, a shaky head rod, and a Ned rod.
The Uni 4s. Wacky rig.
Yeah, you're right.
I usually have.
John, good to see you, man.
Good seeing you, man. If I'm just typically fishing the bay, I usually have 3 spinning rods rigged up. I don't throw a Ned rig really. So I have a wacky rig, a drop shot, and a shaky head. Sometimes I'll have some other things rigged up, but you won't throw a Senko.
Dude, Ken, I'm kind of with you. There was a point in time where all I was doing, I was throwing Senkos.
Rob brings up a good point. You don't necessarily need a spinning rod for it.
No, you can definitely power shot it.
Power shot it.
You can definitely power shot.
I've been known to throw a power shot a time or two.
Yeah,
just once or twice.
I don't know. I just feel like the drop shot is definitely a spinning rod thing, but you can definitely do power drop or any of that stuff. But I'm kind of there was a point in time where all I did was throw Senkos and shaky heads and finesse stuff, and we caught a lot of fish. And then all of a sudden, I just started loving throwing crankbaits and chatterbaits and all the moving baits, and I didn't want to put down my.
I don't throw a Senko either.
I didn't want to put down any of my power fishing because I just had so much more fun throwing it, even though sometimes I wouldn't catch them when I should have just slowed down and throw a shaky head or a drop shot or a wacky Senko or a Nico rig.
I don't even throw a Tokyo rig.
Tokyo rigs are nice.
I have them. I've found them, but I haven't found a situation where it works better than other rigs.
I'm finding myself reverting back to throwing more soft plastics now and just a slower, more finesse platform now. After Lake Anna and just going down there and just throwing shaky heads and just destroying them on shaky heads, I was like, yeah, I need to put this back in my rotation.
Well, yeah, and it's not like it's something that you have to. Like, I'm not.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I'm not picking up
all day long. It is the amount of times I have seen a fish miss a frog and then follow up with a wanky secco and just get smoked.
Rob
is insane.
Rob is a shaky head throwing machine too.
Yeah.
By the way, but like I'm not necessarily going out expecting to throw a shaky head, because like when I go out, I'm trying to break down the water, right? Any day that I go out, I'm trying to break it down, figure out what the pattern is for that day. And the best way to do that generally is with moving baits. You know, you've seen how fast I fish. I cover a shit ton of water
very quickly.
So like it's not necessarily what I'm going to, but if I've hit 3 or 4 spots and like I'm not getting anything on a crankbait or on a spinnerbait or something like that, like at some point, like it's got to click over in my mind that okay, I need to slow down. And that's when I'm going to bring out my. Generally, I'm going to go to I might go to a jig or something a little more power fishing, a jig or a flipping bait or a Carolina rig. If I throw a Carolina rig a lot because I can cover a lot of water with it. Hey, thanks for the like, Harry. I throw Carolina rig a lot because I can cover a lot of water with it. But again, then it's a process, right? Okay, well this isn't working. Okay, maybe I need to, I need to get a little more finessey. So, generally a shaky head's not going to be the first thing that I throw, unless I see like a reason to throw it. Like, okay, well there's a gravel bar out here. Let me drag a shaky head across that real quick, and I might make one cast with it. Or 2, maybe make a couple casts with it, and then I'm going to go back to throwing my crankbaits. Like it's not like I'm just picking it up and locking it in my hands and throwing it from start to finish. Mm-hmm. I would kill myself. Like I would just shoot myself if I had to do that.
Just throw a shaky head all day long.
Like I can do it. It's funny. Like a shaky head used to be like that was like my main confidence bait.
I actually enjoy throwing some of that stuff now because it gets technical. When you're trying to skip docks and stuff, you're trying to throw shaky heads, you're trying to throw wackies under docks, mm-hmm. You're trying to land right next to the pylons and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You're trying to pick those high percentage areas to land that bait in, and to me that's kind of entertaining.
You know what my number one bait to do that with is? A 1/2 ounce jig.
Yeah, or throwing a jig. I'm not good at throwing a 1/2 ounce jig though and skipping it. I can't do it on a bait caster. I bird's nest most of the time.
It just takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Actually, Lake Anna is where I learned how to do it. The first year that I went down to Lake Anna, I was like, there's enough docks here. I'm going to learn how to skip a jig.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can skip a jig from one side of those docks to the other now. But
that's key when you're fishing docks.
It's figuring out where they are on the docks. It helps you because you can cover. Again, I like to cover water, right? So if I have to fish this side of the dock and make 10 casts. And then I have to go to the other side of the dock and make 10 casts to hit the other half of it. I can do that in half, just about half the time if I can skip twice as far. You know what I mean? So getting good at skipping a jig will really cut down on your. It really make you more efficient.
It's learning the right cast and your release point to stay right with the surface of that water.
Well, and it's not just that; it's what you do with your rod tip afterwards, and there's a lot.
Just like you gotta like pull it up. Like
you can't let the key to skipping a jig is not letting your line ever touch the water.
Right.
The jig should be the only thing touching the water. So there's like you have to learn how to do that because there's going to be slack in the line, and if that slack in your line touches the water, it will immediately you get a backlash.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, like, and keep that line up off the water, then you're gonna have some issues. But like
you're gonna have a bad time.
But that's so when I go to a dock, like that's my first thing always the first bait I throw into a dock is gonna be a jig.
If you French fry when you should have pizza'd, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. So like I'm always gonna go with a jig. Like I always go with the power fishing technique first, and before I go down to the finesse. And one of them too is, yeah, exactly. Watch your line, skipping a jig. One of the reasons too is if I'm fishing around a dock, especially like if it's a floating dock, it's one thing. Like I don't care. But if you're like, permanent docks, like we were fishing down at Lake Anna, if like I don't want to throw a shaky head in there because the odds of me getting that fish out go drastically down versus a jig because I'm throwing lighter line,
right.
Around heavy cover. They get wrapped around a dock piling, it's breaking off.
That's a problem I've never really run across too much. Every once in a while I'll have one wrap itself, but it doesn't happen too much.
I've had it hundreds and hundreds of times. I lost one over, I'm pretty sure it was over 6 down there. And not that if I had caught that fish on a jig, it would never would have got around that dock piling. Like I would have just horsed it back. I would just horse it right through. But because I caught it on spinning rod and it ran, I was fishing the side of the dock, like skipping under the back walkway, and it ran out the slip. So like I had to bring it in around the pilings, so you had the pilings running down here and it was out here. So I had to bring it around all those pilings. And I just, it's spinning rod. You just don't have as much leverage. Had I caught that fish on a jig, I would have yanked that bitch straight out of there.
That's wild to watch, Jim. When they like grab their bait and they're just like, bloop.
Oh yeah, you see some you can see that around here. You're just like they're old rednecks, so they don't give it. But crappie fishermen, you ever watch crappie fishermen shooting docks? Dude, they're stupid.
You ever see that guy that skipped his jig backwards? So he like threw it out front and then brought it back and like flipped it into that pipe. Yeah, and just like I was like, what the?
I'm not that good at skipping a jig.
Some guys are just ridiculous with it.
Especially
than people in Japan.
I don't know if you can still find them, but see if you can find some of Gerald Swindle's jig trick shots. This was quite a few years ago, but he was doing trick shots with jigs in his garage on concrete. So he was like skipping a jig under his boat up a ramp into a mounted bass's mouth and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty wild. But there's
Hank Parker.
Yeah, dude, those guys shooting crappie jigs, man. Like they just got like a little spinning pole and they'll just like a bow and arrow, just pull it and release it, and they'll just skip a little tiny crappie jig, like way up under a dock.
Even when I'm like pitching, just like grabbing the line and like pitching, I get so nervous that I'm gonna like try to flick it too hard and just bury it in my hand.
I'll pitch crankbaits with treble hooks hanging out of them.
Yeah, I always get some like, man, I'm like, if I do one wrong thing, I'm like, this thing is gonna bury itself in the palm of my hand.
Do you pitch your glide baits at all?
I have.
Does that freak you out too?
Like
I just grab a handful of that thing and just
you have like so much more like to grab on a glide bait than you do on like a crankbait or a freaking jig.
You'd be done wintertime fishing on the bay, pitching silver buddies.
Oh hell no!
Because you have like nothing to grab. Like you have nothing to get a hold of.
I won't even freaking throw a silver buddy. If I have to go out and throw a silver buddy to catch fish, I'm not going fishing.
Yeah, but when you're going out and throwing a silver buddy and catching like 5 and 6 pounders, it's different.
I guess I've just never had that happen. So.
Oh yeah, pitching a spinnerbait on trees. Yep. Pitching is just a good. Dustin's 100% right. When you're pitching right, you don't even need to touch the lure. If you can get your timing right, like
just
when you pull it. When you pull that bait out of the water and it's swinging back, you can just
dunk.
I'm not very good with that.
I don't spend enough time on the water to get that freaking good at doing it.
If I could, the reason that I can't do that is because I switch hands with my reel, so I can't. I'm all miscombobulated.
Well, the more obsessed you are with it, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Thanks for joining, Brute
It's
Tank.
really, it's all practice, and I'll tell you, like, look, I don't skip a lot of docks during the winter. I don't skip a lot of docks in the fall. So when you get to springtime and I start skipping docks in the springtime, it is not pretty. When I haven't done it for 6 months.
It's all about repetition,
but then
muscle memory of just
once I do it for 15-20 minutes, then it just comes right back. You're left-handed with righty reels.
I use all left-hand. I'm right-handed, so I freaking use.
So do you
left-handed reels?
I mean, I cast with my right hand and reel with my right hand.
I'm pretty sure it was also Seth Feider who came out with a video that was like, "Why are we using right-handed reels when we're right-handed and swapping back to our other hands?" He's like, "It's just a waste of time. Just use a left-handed reel and just never swap. Just reel with your left."
Right.
And I personally don't understand it myself because, like, I always use a left-handed. I'm right-handed, so I want my rod. I want everything in my dominant hand all the time. Like, that's just, I don't get it.
So here I'll the best explanation.
You're not hook setting with your right. You're hook setting with your left on a right-handed reel, and this is not my dominant hand.
Here's the best explanation that I'll give you on that is I can feel cadence better when I'm reeling with my right hand. So if I'm fishing a moving bait, I can tell what speed it's going better in reeling with my right hand than I can with my left hand.
Is it like jerking off with your left hand a little bit?
Yeah, where you just can't get it right and it takes like an extra 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little more sensitive.
Give me the Mountain Dew. Dustin says he also grew up dock fishing the golden age of Middle River.
Yeah, Middle River was a great fishery back in the day.
But why? Look, if you can't set the hook hard enough with your left hand, with your non-dominant hand, you need to go to the fucking gym. Like, if you can't set the hook hard enough with your non-dominant hand, go to the gym. It doesn't matter. You can set the hook with your non-dominant hand way harder than you need to.
Like, okay, so here's the other thing for me too. Like, yes, I can cast just fine going like this with a right hand. You're still going to be casting with your dominant hand, and then you swap and you start reeling with your dominant hand. Here's the other thing that throws me off. If I'm flipping a bait, throwing a jig, a drop shot, any of that, dude, this motion with my left hand, just that, I don't like it. It just feels so much better with the right.
So did you start out fishing with left-handed bait casters?
Yes, Jim. Take selfies at the gym. Never be ashamed of your progress.
Just make sure other people aren't in them, because that's a dick move. Did you start out fishing with a left-handed bait caster?
That's impossible. The gym is always so full. There's always going to be somebody there.
Then don't take selfies. Just because you want to take a picture of you can go home and take a picture in the mirror. Doesn't mean other people want to be posted on fucking Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. But anyway. Did you start out with a left-handed bait caster? Like, is that what when you really got into fishing, were you fishing with a left-handed bait caster or a right-handed bait caster?
The first time I used a bait caster, I'm pretty sure it was a right-handed bait caster because.
But when you really got into fishing,
it always felt better to me to use a left-handed.
So you've always used the
left-handed. But the first time I ever used one, it was a right-handed.
I learned how to fish a bait caster with a right-handed. So for me, even though it's my non-dominant hand, this is way more comfortable to me than this. Like, this feels weird to me.
In your dominant hand, it feels weirder to you. See, this feels weirder to me in my undominant hand. Like, I almost feel like
me
I'm
trying
not
to work
even
a
going
jerk bait.
like,
Like this, I've tried to do it with a left-handed reel, and one, like, I feel like I'm fucking retarded trying to reel it, and two, like this, like I can do much more accurate twitches with my non-dominant hand because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
than
I
can
feel
with my
opposite.
dominant hand.
I feel like I don't know if I'm going hard enough or too hard with my left compared to my right.
I'm the same way,
So
Jim.
there's so much more control.
On spinning rods, I cast with my right hand, and I reel with my left hand. It's the opposite of bait casters for me. And and it's a learned behavior, I think. Because that's how I learned how to throw a bait caster, and that's how I learned how to fish a bait caster. And I've been doing it for so long that it just feels weird to me to do it another way. I could probably learn how to use a left-handed bait caster, but I don't want to have to relearn 20 years of muscle memory either. You know what I mean? Yes, I do, Jeff. That's 100% what I do. I fish a bait caster with the rod in this hand, and I fish a spinning reel with the rod in this hand.
Right. I'm always the same.
If I put a bait caster in this hand, it feels foreign to me. If
Every
I put
rod and reel is always in my right hand. Always.
Here's the thing. So if I put a bait caster in this hand, I feel like a bumbling idiot. If I put a spinning rod in this hand, I feel like a bumbling idiot. I can't fish a spinning rod with my left hand.
That's so weird.
It's muscle memory, right? 20
I
years,
know,
20
yeah,
years,
it's
20
muscle
years.
memory, but it's straight because
I'm
throwing a spinning rod with the right. I'm throwing my casting rods with my right. It's always just it's just all repetition in the right.
Spinning rod, and I don't cast with my left hand. I cast with my right hand and switch,
and then switch.
So casting is fine, but working a spinning rod I can't. This is me working a spinning rod with my left hand. When where with my right hand, I can. It's like jerking off, right? I can. But with my left hand, I'm like.
So with my left.
But then if I hold.
I feel like I'm not even going straight up and down. It's going to the left. It's going to the right. It's not even.
But here's the thing. I'm the same way. If I have it I'm holding a spinning rod, but if I turn my hand I'm holding a bait caster.
Right.
I'm super it's all muscle memory.
I will say that I can agree with you that I feel like the non-dominant hand is more sensitive.
I won't say that it's more sensitive.
I feel like to me, I do feel like there has been a time where I was using a right-handed reel and I felt a fish bite or I felt it because the muscle memory is not there. Everything that happens just feels different. You know what I mean?
I don't necessarily. Like I said, the main reason is that I've never switched is because I power fish a lot. I'm always winding, and I have better muscle control over my right hand, which means I can control the speed of my bait better with my right hand than I can with my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
If it came to fishing a jig or something like that, it wouldn't really make a difference. That doesn't make a difference. So,
also, I make sure that my gear ratios for my reels are
appropriate for
the baits that I'm fishing. Not to say that you can't speed up or speed it down or go down in speed, but yeah, I feel like that has a lot to do with it too. You're trying to throw a.
So do I. But yeah. My reel gear ratios are specific. But even at if I throw crankbaits on a 6-3 to 1. There's going to be situations where I need to either just speed it up a little or I need to slow it down a little, but not enough that I need to go to a 7 to 1 or go down to a 5 to 1.
It's all mental to me when it comes to that. It's you can tell as long as you can tell yourself, slow yourself down on this reel a little bit more because you need to have you control your cadence differently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, it's just that I know, Again, it's learned behavior and muscle memory.
Right.
I know how fast I'm reeling and how fast my bait's moving when I reel with this hand. When I reel with this hand, look at me. I look stupid, because this is my motion. It's not like I can go like that. I can't really do that with my left hand.
I'm good.
See, I can't really reel with my left hand. And if it's a spinning rod, I can do that. But reeling a bait caster in that, which is that little bit tighter circle, you're not reeling in quite a large circle like you are with a spinning rod. I don't have the muscle control to be able to do that. I can.
I feel I was getting ready to dance. I'm
I feel stupid. Now there are some people like Frank. He will have both right-handed and left-handed baitcast reels on his deck at the same time,
That's crazy.
and it doesn't matter which one he picks up. Like he doesn't even think about it's not even a thing to think about him. He just picks up a rod and starts fishing, and he doesn't even have to think about like I'm using the other hand or anything like that. He's just picks up the next rod, cast with either hand, cast with either arm. Like he doesn't switch. He'll cast with his left hand or he's cast with his right hand. So it's some people are like that. I can't do that. I feel stupid when I'm reeling with my right hand. Like it feels like I don't know what I'm doing. And 99% of the time when I cast, the rod's already in my left hand before the bait hits the water.
I feel like it's more popular for people that are right-handed dominant to use right-handed reels anyways.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's until recently, probably the last 15 years, left-handed bait cast reels weren't that common.
Right.
So you didn't have a lot of options. So everybody used, 15 years ago, everybody just about used a right-handed bait caster. It wasn't until the left hand came out. And some people switched when the left hand came out. I'm like, good for them. Like, I'm not saying there's one way's better than the other. And
No.
I definitely do agree that it's a little more efficient if you're casting with your right hand and reeling with your left, and you don't have to switch it. But, it works for me. I don't have an issue with it. I can probably name the number of times in the last 15 years where it's caused me to miss a fish on one hand. And usually it doesn't anyway because I just thumb the spool and set the hook.
Oh, sorry.
Had a little yawn there.
Yeah.
I mean,
just
maybe
little yawnies.
maybe once or twice throwing like a moving bait like around like shallow targets where like I just kind of was like being lazy and I just kind of threw it in there. A couple times on, I think probably a couple times on like top water throwing a popper.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a freaking expensive swap over, Jim. 5 metaniums and 4 scorpions.
I can take those off your hands if you just want to ship them to me. I mean, if they're just sitting around, like they can sit around at my house or in my boat.
There is, yeah. How many metaniums do you have?
0.
No, dude, they're so nice.
I only own one Shimano reel.
Right. Yeah, you like the Iowas now.
Yeah, I only bought that Shimano reel to get into the Susquehanna fishing tackle tournament.
I gotta say the
I'll
that's the one
probably
you
have
bought for me, and then I bought it.
No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you bought one. I bought one last year. I bought a Corrado MGL.
I'm with you though. I haven't really done any updating on any of my arsenal here recently, but
It's a good reel.
I'm all going to Daiwa. All of my reels are going to Daiwa. I'm kind of done with Shimano.
I will probably buy another Shimano reel this year, just to get into that tournament because I have to either buy a Shimano, G Loomis, or a bunch of Jack All or Power Pro. So
my Scorpions and my Metaniums have all been good, but all of my Corrados, my Corrado DCs, it's like I have so many problems with the freaking.
I have 0 interest in a DC reel. Did that hurt?
Why do you keep on jumping up here, dumbass? Can you just leave us alone for like 2 freaking hours and then I'll play with you? God,
I don't have any interest in like the DC reels, because to me that just while I appreciate the technology,
so many people just hate listening to the sound.
Fishing wise, I'm more of a simpler is better. Like if I get a bad, if I have I can fix.
I do love my Antera's Monster Drive DC. I'm not gonna lie, that is a phenomenal reel.
I can fix a regular bait caster.
Right.
If something goes wrong with the DC component, I can't fix that.
I've never had the DC component fail. It's always been my not my brakes. It's all like I don't know why I'm
bearings.
No, not my bearings. When you freaking pull your line out,
the drag.
My drag always fails on them.
Oh, that's easy to fix. You just pull it apart. It's usually there's a good reason for it. Usually grease gets it, like it gets greased up or something.
Yeah, but that's my
You're probably
drag
just taking
is
it apart and clean
on
it.
all of my Shimano DCs that I've had. Not my Scorpions, not my Metaniums, not my Antares DC because it's like built for that shit. But my normal DCs from my 150s all the way to my 200, the drag always fails on them. I can tighten it down as much as I want to and just go
Yeah, that's not good.
and just pull line. So I'm kind of done
Why
with
drive?
them.
Jim
I don't
says
have
why
any
drive
problems with the Daiwas.
why drive a Ford when you can drive a Mercedes? Well, I mean, you can throw a couple of zillions at you, you know.
Because
What's your? I
this
consider
economy sucks and nobody can afford a Mercedes.
my zillions are like my Ferraris.
The Zillions are so sick.
I love those. I love the reels so much.
Now they are expensive reels, but
They're $400.
$400 for a Zillion?
380,
Damn.
370 or 380.
Yeah, I mean you're right in Metanium territory.
Yeah, they're fantastic reels though. So I'll buy another Shimano this year, most likely. I may buy a G Loomis because I've never owned a G Loomis and just kind of want to try it out. I know they're just as same quality as
Hey, what's up, Josh?
equal in quality as my St. Croix, but I'll probably just buy another. I'll probably buy another Corrado because it just fits the price point. And I have no problems with the Corrado that I bought. I just don't like it.
I bought a 200 DC for my frogging reel,
Yeah.
and I got through. And by the way, I bought it halfway through the season, so I had it for half a season. Picked it up earlier this year because I've only had it for one year, and I just trying to freaking
Interesting.
terrible.
I don't know what happened with that,
It's
but
junk.
my Corrado MGL works flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the reason that I will only buy outside of buying for this tournament. I will only buy Daiwa reels, zero adjust spool.
Do you always turn your freaking shit down before you put everything away? Okay, so I'm not the only one. Like everybody's like,
But I also
you don't
keep in mind,
you don't back the tension off your spool or whatever it is before you put it away,
No.
and so it makes it go bad. And
It doesn't make it go bad. You know why? Because guess what? Okay, so you're talking about drag. So you mean that just tension on the drag with it not moving is going to cause your drag to slip? Bullshit.
From what people have said,
Spool tension? You think my spool not moving and my spool tightened down is going
Yep.
to affect that?
you have
You're
to
full of shit.
loosen your drag all the way down before you put your rod away,
Yeah, you're full of shit.
or else the drag is going to stop working.
Full of shit.
Now, on so many rods, so many reels, I never have a problem with that. On my DCs, I always have problems with it if I don't back the freaking
I could
drag
see-
down.
I could see with the DCs loosening the spool
I'm
tension.
working on it, Lil John.
Loosening the spool tension, possibly. But I don't see where tightening the drag down is going to hurt anything. Yeah, exactly. Bullshit. They're idiots. I agree.
It's been 2, 3, 4 of my DC reels.
To me, physics says that it's not going to hurt it. It might make your drag stick together. Your drag disc might stick together. I could see that being an issue, but it's not going to make your drag slip like yours is.
Yeah, I don't. Get
And maybe that's what happened. Maybe your drag just stuck together, and
Even
they're not
Rodney
working
says
at
he's
all.
never had a drag loosen.
Yeah,
For some reason, my DCs continue to freaking fail.
so I'm gonna buy another Corrado. I like that Corrado. I got the MGL 100,
Daiwa is king.
but I will always buy Daiwas because of the zero adjust spool. That is the greatest one by far, the greatest thing that's ever happened to bait casting reels, because I can put a 1/4 ounce jig head on a medium heavy rod, right? So I'm throwing a 7'1" medium heavy rod. I can put a 1/4 ounce jig head with a swim bait on it, and I can chuck it a mile, and then I can immediately take it off and tie on a 3/4 ounce jig, and never change anything on my reel and throw it a mile. That is by far the best thing ever.
Rodney says he wants a Daiwa with Shimano bearings. Honestly, if you're
I
going to
would-
change your bearings, though, I would say go to like Boca's or something
I
different.
hate the noise.
You don't have to get the ceramic bearings.
Yeah. But what's the point of getting Boco bearings if I don't get the ceramic ones?
They still make nicer bearings that aren't ceramic.
Yeah, but I would probably go with one of the other.
And the ceramics, from what I've been told, you just have to maintenance them more. You have to continually oil the freaking ceramic bearings.
Yeah, they just.
But
make
they
a lot of
are
noise.
nice.
They're noisy.
I have a.
They sound a little grindy.
You know what? And here's one of the reels that I have never ever had a problem with. Now my bearings did get crispy in it, and I replaced them with Bocas. Actually, no, they weren't Bocas. They were Hogtech.
Yeah, that's the company I was thinking of.
Hogtech. I put Hogtech ceramic bearings in there. Dude, an Abu Garcia.
I need to do that, Rodney. I got a couple that are screaming.
I'm totally brain farting. It's the Abu Garcia.
Revo?
The Revo SX.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. Is one of the reels, one of the first reels I've ever bought, and to this day I will cast that reel and freaking unspool that entire freaking spool on that thing.
See, I have a Revo.
It doesn't bird's nest. It just freaking casts like a mofo.
I have one Revo.
Phenomenal.
That it's the only one that I've ever owned, and I got it. It was free. It was a Revo. It was a Revo S, and it was free with my lifetime membership for Bass when I finally upgraded just a lifetime membership because I was getting tired of forgetting to do that. But that reel, I never liked that reel. It would never, it just never cast right. I could never cast it, far.
Absolutely,
it was
love
decent.
mine.
I mean, it was a decent reel, but I never liked that reel.
My Revo SX with a brand new freaking spooled all the way up with brand new line. I can freaking unspool that entire thing on a freaking cast.
I can't.
Phenomenal.
No,
And it is dude, it is literally like a 8-year-old reel. I've changed the bearings in it once. It is killer. It's one of my favorite reels, but other than that, the Daiwas are my favorite now. I'm getting tired of all my drag issues with the Shimano DCs.
Now I can spool my Tattoo Elite with when I'm throwing a frog. I mean, I can cast just almost every bit of braid that I have on that off. I can throw that thing a mile.
Really, that's something that different that I haven't heard
anything
much
good
about them, but I haven't heard anything great about them.
I haven't heard
13
anything
fishing
good about 13
concepts.
fishing.
I feel like that's like.
I have one.
No offense, Jim. I
Something
just feel like the
jacked up
freaking 13 fishing is almost like Guggen in a way.
I mean, I wouldn't say they were. I wouldn't put them quite in the Guggen category. But
Yeah,
they're
they're
more
not-
like
yeah.
They're like the
Entry.
new Quantum.
I never used Quantum.
Never used Quantum.
Yeah, no, never used.
Yeah, they're like the new Quantum. They make some good stuff.
Dude,
but
they're still around, but you don't ever see commercials or I never see anything about 13 fishing anymore, anywhere.
I mean, I see it blasted all over my stuff.
Really? Yeah. I don't see anything about 13 fishing. I don't even mess with Lose.
Lose Hypermag, Cast a Mile, just too much. Yeah, that's like a $480 reel, if I remember right. I think stupid expensive. But I've never been a fan of Lose reels.
The Daiwa Tatula is that great happy medium.
It's cheap.
Period all around.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say cheap.
They're not even that cheap. They're like $200 now.
Yeah, $200, but I think $180 for the regular Tatula.
Yeah. And I feel like that reel will get you in trouble for years and years and years, and you won't have a problem with it.
I mean, if I'm paying Hypermag price, I'm buying a Steez.
Yeah.
If I'm going on that route, I'm just going to pay $700 to buy a Steez.
See, with the Hypermag is $400. So let's go with a $450 price point. What are you getting with a $450 price point?
Zillion. That's it's not at the 450 quite, but I mean it's close.
That's probably what I would do. I would just go with a Zillion.
I love Zillion.
I would go with a Zillion, or I'll even revert back to my Shimano and go to the Metanium. The Metanium is a fantastic reel that I've never had a problem with.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that's just about all they fish is Metaniums.
They have Metanium DCs too, which are wild.
Dustin says 13 Fishing has decent rods at lower prices. Yeah, they do have some decent rods. I used before I switched everything to St. Croix. I had some of the 13 the Fate Blacks, the bright green ones.
Oh, shut up, God Almighty!
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Why don't you go suck a fat one?
$180 for Hypermags. That's pretty cheap.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
So that bright green, Fate Black, which I don't know why they called it the Fate Black when it was bright green, but that. I bought a couple of those. I actually got they had a Rip and Chatter model. I got it at Dick's. So it was a 7.3 medium heavy moderate graphite rod. Or it might have even been a heavy. But it was a great chatterbait rod. In fact, Ken Berry has both of those rods.
Okay.
And still uses them.
Mm-hmm.
I bought those 7 or 8 years ago, probably. Ken Berry uses them, loves them. Candace I had a same model in a spinning rod. Candace still uses that. And it's a good rod. It's just not. It just wasn't to my liking. I'm bougie. I'm not saying you need $200 to $300 rods, but I really like $200 to $300 rods. You can get away with.
I have a lot of them.
I actually saw somebody on TikTok talking about this, and like the problem with bass fishing. It's not it's not live scope. It's not any technology that's going on. It's that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is telling you that you need a $500 rod and a $500 reel, where for the average person, a $150 combo is going to do just fine.
He's a Rodney says, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, Rodney with his Dobbins ecstasies and crap.
Oh, snap. I got Dobbins Champions. I have 4 Megabass rods. There is no Megabass rod under the $200 mark.
For sure.
None of them.
Yeah, Dustin, I got my I got my 13 fishing rods at Dick's one time. They were on clearance, they were buy one get one.
I 100% do like
$70.
There's so many people out there that are look at you and say, "Oh, well, like you just what is it? They're just fishing for fishermen. They're fishing for fishermen." I call bullshit on some of that.
I would like to say that Rodney, thank you for switching to Dobbins, because you gave me a great deal on a couple of St. Croix rods. Really appreciate that.
Fishing for fishermen, when it comes to price point and stuff of rods, is bullcrap. The only people that are saying that are the people that have. The only people that are saying that are the people that have never thrown a $300 fishing rod before to actually feel the sensitivity difference.
He did say, is a $300 rod better than a $100 rod? Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
But for the average person getting into fishing, they will do just fine with
absolutely
with a $150 combo.
I recommend a Dobbins Fury to every single person that is.
I'm
getting
going
into
even
fishing.
less. Like, we're talking $150 combo. You're going to do just fine with that. If you're just,
because the Dobbins Furies are $120 rods.
If you're just getting into the sport and you're not even sure if you I want to try out fishing.
The old Ducket Ghost with a Black Max on it.
Right. He had a really good point. Is somebody that's new into the sport, they should probably not spend $1,000 on a combo.
Agreed.
Before they really know that they're into the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe down the road, like he said, he's like, I like to spend money. I like to spend money just like everybody else. Trust me. But for the most part, you can get away with, a cheaper combo. Yeah, Jason's a perfect example. He is stacked up Bass Pro Tourney Specials $49.99 rods. Catches more fish than all of us.
Yeah, $130 rod is cheap, right? In the retrospect of things, $130 rod is cheap.
Yeah, like Rodney said, that's how broken we are. $130 rod is cheap. That's a good point.
X-Prides, Megabass rods, Dobbins Champions.
It's funny because before I got into
St. Croix,
my first
the legends, the legend tournaments.
You want to see
your poisons?
You want to know how crazy
poison, whatever.
So in 25 years ish, my first St. Croix rod that I ever got, I got when I was 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. It was a St. Croix Premier ultralight spinning rod. You know how much that rod was?
In the beginning?
At 25 years.
$100.
$60.
Damn, dude, the St. Croix Premier is a $140 rod right now.
better up that price.
Really?
The Premier? Yeah. Premier's $170.
No shit.
It's almost tripled in price.
Okay, so we were talking about that when we were at Anna and we stopped at Green Tackle.
Green Top.
At Green Top.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the two rods? Because I looked at the Premier and you said it's the same blank as this rod, but it was a different price point. What rod was that we were talking about?
It was actually a worse blank.
Yes.
So the Premier and the Mojo Bass. So the Mojo Bass actually has a better blank than the Premier.
No, it was in between that too. It wasn't the Mojo Bass. It was another one.
Was it the Black Bass?
No.
The Black Bass is going to be below that. It could be.
Because you were trying to get Kevin to buy one.
Oh, then it would have been the Victory.
The Victory.
The Victories. That's one of my favorite rods.
For what was the price point?
They're about $200.
Yeah. Boom. Right there.
Yeah, they're about 200.
It's like that happy medium.
For the value, I think that's the best rod that you can get
the
right
Victory Rodney. If you're gonna spend $170 on the Premier, like you might as well just get the Victory.
Yeah, you might as well spend $15 more and get the Victory.
Get the Victory.
Because it's way better. It's just a way better blank, way better components.
I've heard great things about Kistler rods, Jim. Never used any of those, but I've heard good things about them.
I have so many Victories now. I absolutely love that series of rods. They're affordable-ish, and they're super sensitive. Just absolutely love them.
It came to I used to race dirt bikes. I used to race motocross. I was buying dirt bikes, tires, engine rebuilds, going to the track, paying $100 to ride at the freaking track for a day, race fees, all that shit. I used to think that was the most expensive sport in the world. And then I got into fishing.
It's like fishing and golf are the two most expensive.
Yeah, and then I had to have a $50,000 boat, and then I had to have, which is a cheap boat, by the way.
Right.
And then you have to have, once you get into fishing and you start understanding the difference in the sensitivities of the rod. Now all my rods have to be $200, $250.
That's the thing. We get into this and we think that I need. The market has made us believe that we need. That's what we need to be successful. Like we have to have this.
You don't need it, but the farther you get into the game, you realize that there is differences, and you want those differences.
Oh, Rodney says if it wasn't for the Dobbins military discount, he'd be 100% St. Croix because Rodney's from Wisconsin. So.
Gotcha.
I was actually I wanted to see if I could shoot by the St. Croix factory when I was in Wisconsin this summer, but it's too far out of the way from where I'm going anyway. On my scouting trip to the Mississippi. Oh, 40% off? Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I need to get on that St. Croix Pro staff. Yeah, Rodney, I didn't realize how far away Park Falls was from like the rest of civilization. Give me some cheese. Yeah, I will definitely. I'm taking Tony with me for my scouting trip out to the Mississippi. So we'll definitely hit some cheese. We'll definitely get some cheese curds while we're out there. I've been out there a couple of times for work because the office for our software company is out there. The software company that we use is out there. So I've definitely experienced the 5 hours from where you grew up. Yeah. I've definitely experienced the Wisconsin cuisine a few times in the last couple of years. Yes, you taught me that at Anna one year. Squeaky equals fresh.
Squeaky, explain.
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds?
Yeah. Cheese curds, food.
Yeah.
If you bite into them and you can feel them squeak, you'll feel them squeak against your teeth. That's how you know they're fresh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Rodney told me that. Wisconsin boy. Yeah, I'm seasoned. Yeah. I had to go out there for training a couple times. I know. From what you taught me and from being in Wisconsin for work, I'm down. We're also going to visit Team Marine while we're out there.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Like it makes me want to go with you guys.
We're gonna make it a point to stop by. And then the weekend that we decided to go out there is the weekend of the Elite Series. So we're gonna go hobnob with some of the elite anglers and
You guys ought to just sit at the boat ramp at the end of the day and just talk to some of the guys as they freaking come out.
I just want to. I'm like I've already got a plan. I'm just gonna I can't wait to just walk up to Greg and be like, "Hey, Greg, what's up?" He's like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Yeah, yeah. Greg's a cool guy.
Yeah, Greg's super nice. Greg's helped me. He's
That
helped
would
me
be
a couple different things.
That would be a fantastic time to try to make a couple connections for the show for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have to make sure I'm wearing some Bass and Beer garb and get some swag out there, and maybe we can get some stickers to hand out, or something like that.
Yeah. Take a couple T-shirts out there with you to give to some of the.
I'm definitely. I'm. Also, I'm not ashamed to say I'll probably go follow some elite anglers around just to see where I can run in these places. Although, I have seen how they treat their boats, I won't trust that.
Walk through the holler, fish baits, and get them all disqualified. No, terrible.
But that's not they won't even you don't get disqualified for that.
It seems like the rules get more and more sensitive.
Have a good night, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney, thanks for joining us, brother. Take it easy.
Yeah, you don't get disqualified. If somebody comes through a parking lot and yells I'm killing him on a spinnerbait, you're not gonna get disqualified for that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this rule has been in place for 15 years.
Right.
We've been through these situations before. Where you're going to get disqualified is when you start asking, and Jim knows this, when you start asking about the bodies of water and about how they were catching them or where they were catching them. We have heard, allegedly, that Scott Martin was doing 3 weeks prior to that Okeechobee tournament. It wasn't that it was just some shop talk. And some guy was just being like, "Oh yeah, I was killing him on a spinnerbait." There's Scott going, "Oh yeah, what was the water clarity up there?" And and when you start doing shit like that, then it gets. I don't even think it's silly. I think the no information rule is fantastic because it makes the tournament more about who can fish and less about who has the best Rolodex.
I'm halfway tempted to my thought process is what would happen if they got rid of that and everybody could get information and go fish? What would happen? You know what I mean?
You end up with whoever has the best network and whoever has the best bankroll. Because they're
yeah. So I mean, a lot of just the top guys that have the most money and whatnot are going
or the most connections. When you have say Jordan Lee, Jordan Lee hit Home Lake, Smith Lake. He knows every local hammer on Smith Lake.
Right.
You think going into that tournament he wouldn't know absolutely everything? Or Lee Livesey on Lake Fork, or some of let's see who. Swindle on Gunnersville, stuff like that, where the guys that have the best connections are going to end up they're going to be at a huge advantage over the guys who have less connections, or you have guys that will fork out money and actually pay for stuff. Allegedly, don't sue me, Boyd Duckett. Allegedly. That's how Boyd Duckett won the Classic. And it wasn't, to be fair on him, he did not break any rules because it was not a rule at that point. So even if he did, because I'm saying allegedly, his Classic was bought. He bought the points.
We like fishing boat docks.
I know of a situation of an angler that paid $10,000 for the locations of brush piles on Lake Eufaula, knowing that money was going to come back to him. It was worth $10,000 to him. And between him and another angler, they've won hundreds of thousands of dollars on Lake Eufaula. So, that's where it goes when you take away the no information rule. But you have the guys that are skirting the gray areas. So, like we're talking about, when somebody just comes up and starts talking to you.
Do you not think that forward-facing sonar puts a different, not to get into the beating the dead horse thing, but do you think that could throw a hook in some of that?
No, it's just going to amplify it. Because you think they don't have connections.
But how do you get connections to tell you where free roaming fish are?
Because they're still going to be in areas.
Right.
It's not like you're not just going to. The way that they make forward-facing sonar sound is like I was just going out into the middle of the lake, and like I just went out in the dead middle of the lake and I caught 30 pounds. Like that's not how it happens, right? They're still going to be in specific areas. They're just not in the areas that we used to fish. Like the classic being one. Lee Livesey and Easton Fothergill, they were fishing the same pocket. Lee was fishing in a more traditional manner, fishing grass, shallow grass, in the back of the pocket with chatterbait. Easton was fishing the same pocket that we knew these fish were moving into, but he was picking off the fish that were moving into the pocket. So he's hitting the fish that were staging on the timber that was in the middle of the pocket, where Lee was catching the fish that had moved into the back of the pocket to spawn. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not like just because you're using forward-facing sonar, the areas that they're going to be in. So it's going to be like if okay. You can pay somebody, or you can get information. Yeah, they're this pocket. They're spawning. They're going to be spawning in this pocket. They're going to be spawning in this pocket. Like the fish are going to be moving into there. It's going to be you're going to run into the same issues. He had solicited info. It's not easy at all.
It's all work. Yeah, I completely agree.
But going back to the soliciting of information, like I have a couple of people that I talk to, but for the most part, I would rather just go figure something out myself. I'm not ashamed. Frank helped me out on the tournament that I won on the Pocomoke. I'd never been there before. I was allowed to get info. And Frank kind of gave me some pointers, on what I need. He gave me some insight on what I needed to do. Now, that being said, I caught my fish. I caught one fish off of a spot that he told me to fish. One out of 10 fish came off a spot that he told me to fish. And so, I would rather just figure stuff out on my own. I feel like I fish better that way, but it depending on how deep your pockets are or how deep your connections are, it can be a major that can be a major player, especially on a place like a Gunnersville, where you can locate massive schools of fish.
Right.
Where you can be on one spot can be a winning spot there, versus our tidal waters, where you kind of have to run a pattern and you're going to have to hit 10, 20 spots in a day. Why Russell Earl being lazy, just go out there and hunt. Yeah, I agree. Jason said he doesn't do good fishing for other people. Yeah, I don't me and Jason were talking about fishing techniques the other day, and I was picking his brain about fishing a technique that I'm not real comfortable. I don't have a lot of confidence in, and stuff like that. That's no big deal. But I'm not asking him hey, where do I need to go on Rocky Gorge, fishing a tournament there? Show me the spots. I'm gonna look at a map and I'm gonna figure out where I want to fish, and I'm gonna break down the area of water that I think is gonna be the highest percentage area. If I know I have a certain area of the lake, I know I can pick out what's going to be the best, what I think is going to be the best area of the lake, and I'm going to break that area down and I'm going to fish it how it needs to be fished, and either it's going to pan out for me or it doesn't. that big a deal. Even as a a professional angler, you can do the same thing, without being a shady, as Seth Fighter put it, a piece of shit.
I love that.
Don't be a piece of shit. It's the best rule in bass fishing. Just don't be a piece of shit.
We're coming up on our 9 o'clock point before we shut down the show here. I want to say, Jason, UFC 314's coming up. Make sure you don't make any plans, because we're definitely going to be doing another get-together for UFC 314 at the house. And
I get to get up early and pick my boat up tomorrow. Super, super stoked.
There you go. You should be stoked. Take it out,
Time to
make
get
sure
out.
everything works right.
Got to figure out how I need to get my skeg fixed.
Avoid all barges.
I don't know of any. Luckily, I don't know of any barges on the Upper Bay, and that's where my next few tournaments are. So
Don't know of any barges sunk in the GP. There's a couple little fiberglass boats that are sunk.
yeah,
Back in the pond.
There might be.
There's 2 of them now.
I would be honestly between like the Gunpowder, the Bush, and Middle River. Actually, I do know where there's a barge in Middle River. So I know where there's one barge around, but.
Avoid that.
But I would be surprised, like with as much because this Joppatown was a major port in the
Thank you,
late
Jim.
1700s. So I would not be surprised if there was a sunken barge anywhere around the Gunpowder.
I'm sure.
Not that I've ever found, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'm
All
surprised
right.
there's no ballast stones. That's what gets me. Like there's no like big ballast rock piles from the. So on the old barges, like now we have like on like your shipping container ships, they fill the hull with water to make it sit lower when they're when they're underway, and then they release that water when they come into port, so it runs shallower. They used to do that with rocks, so they would just stack rocks up on the deck, and then when they came in and they needed to go into the shallow port, they would just dump the rocks off. So you can find like rock piles, like these big rock piles on the Potomac, where they dump the ballast rocks off, and you don't really see that in the bay, which is surprising because there there's a lot of shipping in like Joppatown, Haverty Grace were all major ports, so kind of interesting that doesn't really exist up here. So all right, guys.
Yep.
Well, I think we're gonna call it a night. I got to get up early and go pick my boat up. Hopefully get it put back together pretty quickly tomorrow so that I can go out fishing on Sunday.
Camo, thank you guys for joining. We will see you guys next week for another episode of Friday Night Shenanigans. Next week, we will be joined on Good Friday by our buddy Joshua Craig. He is the welder and fabricator. He does some work for JCS Marine. Me and Tony met Josh when we went up to Rhode Island.
Should get him to weld a new skeg on my boat while he's here.
There, you know what? You might want to reach out to him, because that could probably happen.
Like, hey, you want to weld a skeg on my
Josh
boat?
is a phenomenal welder. He is a man of many different talents between music, teaching, welding and fabricating. The guy is very, very good at what he is, and we will actually have him in studio next Friday. So definitely
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely get ready for that. That's going to be a very, very good show. We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. So tell all your friends, tell your friends of your friends of your friends, and let's go. We will see you guys next